Welcome to the Las Vegas Advisor with Anthony and Andrew. Today is our very first Jackpots only update episode.
Show. Yeah. I mean, we thought we'd give something different to try. Remember, we talked about how we're going to do, a regular schedule of things.
That's right.
And we're going to try for a few months, doing once a month, we're going to do Jackpots only.
That's right.
And, when we did it in the weekly updates, everybody liked them.
That's right. And you submit them. You continue to submit them. So, we have a backlog.
Yeah, so many of them. So we're going to be today we're going to do 3. Mm-hmm. We don't know if we're going to do 3, every week. We might do 4 or 5. It kind of depends on how long the story is.
Right.
And that's one of the things we're gonna make sure that every one of these, there's going to be no set number, but each one's going to have either a good story or some kind of a lesson or something. Some will be big jackpots, some will be small. It's all relative.
Yeah.
Somebody hits a $200 nickel royal.
That's awesome.
They're as happy as the guy who hit the $5 royal, based on what kind of money they've got and what they got to play with.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be being across the gamut there,
And this episode in particular is interesting because all of these jackpots that we're going to showcase are recent. And you, Anthony, were involved in all 3.
Yeah, and most of the time we weren't there. And we want you guys to send in the jackpots. The more you send, the more we have to work with.
That's right.
But all 3 that we're going to talk about, I had something to do with. And we figured, let's stick them all in one, and we'll see how it goes.
That's right. And in future episodes, we may even point back to some that you have already sent us if there's an important lesson or something that we want you to learn from that particular jackpot.
Okay, and one thing I want to say here, too, is that we're not actually going to be playing while we do this. Mm-hmm. And for that, Andrew, you're going to be doing slot reviews, another something we're going to try.
That's right.
You can actually watch the play if that's what you're looking for, and Andrew's going to run that show pretty much.
That's right. In an attempt to expand our audience, we're going to be taking some select slot machines and talking about how to play, what to look for, and give you a little bit of education and show you some good hits.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do that much with that one because I don't like slots. And Andrew loves slots.
I do.
So,
I'm guilty.
Yeah, so that's going to be that. But that's something different. Today it's jackpots.
All right, so without any further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Anthony to talk about the first of our 3 jackpots of this week. And we have names for all of them, right?
We named them.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we named them. This one's called KKK.
That's right, the KKK.
Which is Keno at Kopper Keg.
That's right, or it could be Kopper Keg Keno.
Yes, any way you want to do it, as long as there's 3 Ks in a row.
That's right.
And I'll tell you why we're doing this one.
Yeah.
Is when we decided we were going to do jackpots, I was thinking about it. I was driving around one day, and I stopped at the Kopper Keg, which there are like 3 of them in Vegas, but this one was up on Rainbow and Sahara, essentially. And while I was in there, I literally was, having a beer and thinking about this show, and I hear this commotion, and I'm like, somebody hit something. That's when you hear that noise, it's unmistakable.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking and everybody's clapping and everything.
Hand pay.
I says it's either a royal flush or Keno.
Yeah.
Who knows? And I'm listening, and I think I hear 9,000. I go, 9,000, that's a lot for a bar.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're playing $1 royal, you get $1 royal, it's 4,000. You get a big Keno hit, it's $3,000-4,000.
Yeah.
But like 9,000. So, I perk up and I'm listening. Wasn't 9,000. 49,000.
Wow. That's life-changing money.
Well, so you know what that was. That was Keno.
Yeah.
Right? And sure enough, went over and took a look, and the guy had hit, I said, what did he hit? What was he playing? They said, he was playing a 25-cent Keno.
Right.
7 spots, fully loaded.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I guess that, that can mean something different in different bars. I guess he's, he must have been playing pretty big. All right. So I went over and took a look, and it turns out he was playing 14 coins on 2 7 spots.
Wow.
And 1 coin each on an 8 spot and a 9 spot. So he was betting $7.50 a hand. He hit the 2 7 spots.
He hit 2 7 spots. Like, how hard is it to hit 1? He hit 2.
Well, I can tell you how hard. It's a 1 in 41,000 shot.
Wow.
To hit 7 out of 7.
That's like a royal flush.
Yeah. It's almost the same number as a royal flush, about 1 in 40,000 for a royal flush.
Wow.
So he hits 2 of them. So anyway, he hits those 2, and the whole place is going nuts. And there's this, this guy's happy as hell. He could hardly talk. I guess it turns out he was a local. But there's a bunch of things that kind of go with this.
Yeah.
When you kind of, delve into this. The first thing is the Kopper Keg owns its own machines. Mm-hmm. So they had to absorb that hit. And, typically when a bar gets a big hit, it's not something that hurts them too much because they have what's called a route operator. And the route operator takes a percentage of the profits, but stands for big hits like this and pays it off so it doesn't come out of the cash flow of the business and so forth.
Interesting.
They own their own machines. So they had to, they have to make this $49,000 up. But listen to this. I mean, this is just kind of like a lesson in how tough Keno is to play. All right, the game he was playing, I went back later when everything had cleared out, and I looked at the game, I looked at the schedule, and we ran the schedule, and I'm going to talk about where you can find that later on also in a book. 87.68% was the return on this game.
So that's a very high house edge.
Yeah, over 12%.
Yikes.
So this guy's fading a 12% edge. That means, what do you think in Keno? How many hands in a minute? Maybe 10?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably. So let's say 10 hands in a minute. At that vig, the player is losing $9.25 per minute.
Really?
That's the drain on Keno, $9.25 per minute. So that would mean to make up that 49,000, the bar needs to get 88 hours of Keno on that machine.
Okay.
All right. So for the one guy to lose it back, 88 hours, he's got to play a lot of Keno to lose it back if he doesn't hit something in between, right? But the bar only needs 88 hours. So you got 20 different players. That's, 4 hours apiece, roughly.
Right, right. Now they got to play fully loaded just like he did, right, to get that.
Right. The way it was playing, if they're playing that way. But anyway, so that's one interesting thing. He was able to buck that 12% edge. It's, it's a tough one. Second thing that I noticed, when he hit it, nobody wanted to leave the bar.
Okay. Now, why did nobody want to leave the bar?
Yeah, let's think about that. All right. Now, first of all, it was shift change.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they pool their tips there. I don't know if it goes into one 24-hour thing or if it goes by shift or if they keep, I don't know. They keep their own. I don't know what they do. But nobody wanted to leave because they wanted to see what the tip was going to be and if they were going to get a piece of it. Not only that, but none of the customers wanted to leave. Why?
Because sometimes in Vegas, people have a superstition and they'll go around and give you a lucky 20 if they get a big hit. But this is a super big hit, so maybe he gave out some lucky hundies.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
I went back after and I talked to some people. I said, what happened with the guy? They go, well, he tipped $5,000.
Okay.
Which is even more than 10%.
That's pretty generous, yeah.
Very generous. He was a local. He was a guy that they all knew. He walked around giving away 20s and 100s. They said he was on fire. He went back and played again and kept winning, nothing like that, but kept winning and winning. He'd get up every time he'd win. He'd walk around. I talked to one player that was there and said she got $500.
Wow.
So that's, again, that's another part of the whole Vegas thing. When somebody wins, nobody wants to leave. I left.
Incredible.
I had places to go.
That's
I left. I didn't get a lucky 20.
Now, I actually noticed something about the Keno hit, too, that is interesting, is that he was playing mostly 7 spots, and then the one that he hit was covered, right? So he hit it twice, but it was the same, and we call that an H spot, where it's 3 with 1 in the middle, and then 3 on the other side, because it looks like an H, and you can play that design all over the board.
See, you would know that. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at it, yep, I can see that it is an H.
Yeah.
But that's why you're here, Andrew. You know Keno. Keno and slots, man.
I'm Andrew Hunt. Sometimes I play the H.
So very good, very good. So anyway, I thought it was brilliant. First of all, I've hardly ever seen a hit that big in a bar. It's one of the biggest I've seen. Second was just all these side things that went along with it.
Yeah.
Right. One interesting thing. There's our book Gambling 102. There's a 25-page video Keno chapter.
And we don't promote that so much. That's actually really useful if you're a Keno player.
Yeah, you can actually look at the return percentages of dozens and dozens of schedules there.
Right.
And, not that this guy cared. He was going to play it. Didn't matter what it was. But congrats, and that's the KKK, our first jackpot.
All right. And now for story number 2. The title is called Pre-Game for Walmart. Take it away, Anthony.
Pre-game for Walmart. Okay, here's another one I witnessed.
Okay.
And this one came before the one we just did. All right, I was in Magoo's.
Okay.
All right, Magoo's bar. Sounds like I go to a lot of bars, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does sound like that.
Well, that's because I do. All right, Magoo's is located at West Spring Mountain in Buffalo.
Okay.
Another one I like. When you go there, look for Jennifer, the bartender.
Hi, Jennifer.
All right. Okay, so I'm sitting and just doing what I do, having a beer and playing their best video poker game, which is 7-5. bonus poker, not too bad.
Pretty good.
98%. And all of a sudden I hear, what? Commotion.
Yeah.
All
Ding,
right?
ding,
Commotion again, just like the other thing.
Yeah.
And I look over and there's a young lady and her mother. And her mother had just hit, she had just hit 4 deuces with an ace.
Nice.
All right. Now, on regular Deuces Wild, that wouldn't mean much, but we're playing in this game. She was playing Deuces Wild bonus.
That's right.
And the ace is a special kicker in that game. So she holds 3 deuces and gets another deuce and the kick and the ace.
Incredible.
I'm going, hey, man, that's fantastic. So the game they were playing, as I say, Deuces Wild bonus, 96.27%. Not a great game.
No.
But they were playing it for 50 cents, so they got a $1,000 jackpot on that one.
Perfect.
All right, so that's not the end of the story. I thought it was. I go, way to go. I go, that's really good. And she told me, that's not the end of the story.
Let's hear the end of the story.
She goes, this is our second $1,000 jackpot today.
Wow.
And she goes, when we were at Yorky's, another bar in town, earlier in the day, and her mom, she says, my mom hit a regular 25-cent Royal Flush for $1,000.
Perfect.
All right, so I don't know what they were playing there, but I said, so you went from here to Yorky's. I go, what were you doing at Yorky's? She goes, we were pre-gaming for Walmart.
Hilarious. That's great.
And if nobody knows, this may be a phrase that everybody uses, but I never heard it till I got to Vegas. And it's like a pre-game for something, meaning we're going to go to a game, but we're going to tailgate first.
Right.
Right. And it's like, it happens on dates. Like, I'd ask a girl, like, we're going to go out to date. She goes, yeah, you want a pregame?
Yeah, it's a party before the event.
Right. So that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they literally had to go get liquored up because they had to go to Walmart.
I don't blame them.
So I told
Shopping
her,
can be stressful.
Yeah, I told her, I said, you were pre-gaming for Walmart. I said, that's like the greatest phrase I've heard in a long time. And I said, you're going to be on our new show when we get it going.
Well, it sounds like a nice pregame and a nice postgame. The other thing, Anthony, is that these hits are both under hand pay threshold.
Yeah, they both were.
So this is great.
Yeah, they didn't have to fill out any paperwork or anything. Just to, Yorky's another good bar.
Okay.
Again, we say we want to, put some information out there. Yorky's is part of the Ellis Island and Village Pubs bars.
So the food's going to be good.
The food is great. They have like the prime rib special. It's great. This Yorky's located at 5325 South Fort Apache.
Okay.
All right. Good place to hang out. Good food.
Okay. Just so you know. And then the other thing, Anthony, this story reminds me of the other day I was playing at one of your favorite bars, Jackson's, which has that great steak special, and a coupon from the member rewards book. And I saw a mother-daughter team just like this, but they were playing Keno, and they got an 8 out of 8, and they were betting 50 cents. I believe that was a $5,000 hit.
Wow, not bad.
And that was pretty massive.
Not bad. Not quite like the 14 coin 7 for 7. But,
that's incredible.
But not bad at all.
Yeah,
not bad at all. 1 in 230,000, by the way. That 8 out of 8.
8 out of 8 is 1 in 230,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, congrats on that one.
And now for our third and final jackpot, we call this one Mistaken Identity.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. Tell us, Anthony, catch us up. What happened?
All right, this one kind of shows you that anything can happen.
Right.
All right, so I got a friend. His name is Lou.
Okay, Lou.
He's a good handicapper. He handicaps a lot of different games, but he does a lot of UFC, and he's really good.
Okay.
And I like to watch and bet the UFC. So he and I got to be buddies. He actually has a service, and I'm not really big on pick services, but Lou is a really honest guy.
Gamble Lou.
Gamblou.com.
Okay.
All right. So Lou says to me, he goes, I want to get into. He doesn't live in Vegas. I think he lives in Phoenix. And he says, I want to get into video poker. And he says, what book should I read? And my go-to book now for beginning video poker is Frugal Video Poker.
Okay.
Gene Scott.
Yeah, we love Gene Scott.
Yeah, and I just think it's of all the great, Bob Dancer stuff that there is, I just think for the absolute beginner that Gene Scott's Frugal is the best. So he gets Frugal Video Poker, and he comes to town, and he's telling me this story. He says, I got a really good story on Jackpot for you. And he goes, so I read Gene Scott, and she says to play 9-6 jacks or better.
Okay.
All right, 96.54%.
Because that's the best pay schedule.
Game, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, that's in the back of my mind. I'm going to play 9-6. He was staying at South Point. They got plenty of 9-6 there. But anyway, he wants to go get pizza at the Blue Diamond Saloon because they had a Naked Pizza there, which are still around. But Blue Diamond Saloon is no longer open. So he gets a ride share. He goes all the way out to Blue Diamond, to the Blue Diamond Saloon, and it's now a slot house, like a Dottie's, but not a Dottie's. It's something else. I can't remember what he told me it was.
Okay, like a small gaming
Yeah,
place.
it wasn't one of the big ones. And he was going to turn around and leave, but he couldn't because the rideshare had another fare and had to leave. So he decides he'll go in and call somebody else. He goes in, he looks around, he finds a 9-6 game. And he's like, okay, I'm going to play it. Calls for his ride, and he's waiting. Takes a $20 bill, puts it into the machine, hits the button, and he hits max play.
Okay.
All right. Now, in this particular thing, like most of these slot houses, max play means 100 coins.
Right. You always have to check. That's a pro tip we've talked about.
Yeah. So it eats his entire 20.
Okay.
And it goes to 80 coins. He's got 80 quarters, $20 going on the one. He gets dealt a pair of aces. He keeps the aces first hand because his whole 20 is gone.
Yep.
Gets 2 more aces, bang, bang. He gets 4 aces.
Incredible.
Right?
Yeah.
Boom, 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 ding, ding, ding. It's going up, 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 up. And I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good hit. 9-6, quad. That's pretty good. He goes, I made $3,200. I go, wait a minute, $3,200? I go, something's wrong about this story. You don't make $3,200 on a Jacks or Better game hitting a quad.
Yeah.
I go, you sure you were playing Jacks or Better? He goes, I was playing 9-6. I said, you got a picture of it? Shows me a picture, right?
Yeah.
He's playing 9-6-4 double bonus.
Right.
Okay, so instead of the aces paying 250 coins, the aces paid 800 coins.
Wow.
All
There
right.
you go.
Instead of I think I said it's a 96.38% game instead of what he thought. All right. Instead of it paying on $1.25, it's paying on $20.
Yeah. There you go. 80 credits.
Right. So he's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Playing the wrong game, making the wrong bet.
At the
One
right
hand,
time.
and makes $3,200. Now, is that a jackpot?
That's a wonderful jackpot. $3,200, especially when you think you're making a $1.25 bet.
Anything can happen. And I told him, I said, send me the thing. And he sends me the photo of the hit, and it's titled "Gene Scott's My Hero." But Gene Scott didn't tell him to do that. He didn't do what Gene Scott said. But Lou's a smart guy. He won't make that mistake again.
Well, sometimes you do. Sometimes even, when you know what to look for, you hit that max bet button.
Andrew, how many times, at least 2 or 3 times, I've misidentified a schedule on when we did the Jackpot of the Week. I've misidentified a schedule. You've got to look closely.
Yeah, you do.
So here's a quick primer, right?
Yeah.
We're going to put it, we've got it up on the screen. We've got, these are the Bob Dancer strategy cards.
Right, so these are other things to get. These are actually really helpful.
Yeah, this is the top of the strategy cards that shows you the different schedule. And we've got the 9-6 Jacks or Better versus the 9-6-5. Lou actually played 9-6-4, but against the 9-6-5 schedule. Doesn't make a difference for this. The way you can tell fast that you're not playing a 9-6 game is to look at the payout for 2 pair.
Okay.
Because in Jacks or Better, it goes 1 for a pair, 2 for 2 pair, 3, 4, 6, 9, up to the flush and full house.
That's right.
In the other one, you can see it goes 1-1, and then up the ladder 1-1, 3, 4, 6, 9. So that 9 and 6 are still there, but you can tell by looking at the 2 versus the 1. And that's what you have to look for when you're checking schedules.
And you've told me in the past that's a big difference when you're getting double money on 2 pair.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference. But you're almost always, when you see that 1, you're going to have higher payouts at the top, but the drain, it's going to take your money. You get 2 pairs so many times, and you're only getting 1 instead of 2. So you've got to be very careful. So there you go. That's it. That's our 3 jackpots. That's our first jackpot show. We're going to do another one, then another one, and another one, and we'll see how they go, and we'll go from there.
That's right. So one last reminder, here's the website or the email address. The website, LasVegasAdvisor.com. Remember to check the link in the description box. If you want to become a member, you get all the great info, and then you also get the member rewards coupon book. Anything else to add, Anthony?
No, just send us those jackpots.
Them.
You never know what comes out of them. We've seen so many of these, and we read the stories, and they're just some great ones.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what we can come up with.